Hello everybody and welcome to another video. We received some information about the new daily login rewards coming in the next patch, middle of July, if they keep it as promised, together with the Bazaar as well for the Arena 3v3. A few more changes towards the how many tokens we have. We're going to be able to collect gold bars for each fight we win, so overall with that we'll be able to purchase items from the new store, which will be the Arena store, the Bazaar. We will be having some new sort of artifacts there, probably accessories if we understood right. We have no idea what they do, we have no idea where you're gonna equip them. They're gonna unlock a new slot on the champions, or what exactly is gonna be. Honestly, we have no idea so far about that, but we did receive the 3 new champions that we're gonna receive with the daily login reward. So accordingly to the following days, day 210 we're gonna get one, 240 we're gonna get another one, and day 270 we're gonna get another legendary. This time around is gonna be a void legendary. Honestly, I'm not super impressed with the champions overall with their kits, but we're gonna have a look in a second. I'm gonna show you the skills, some screenshots with the actual champions, the way they look pretty decent. Now we have no other information regarding the daily login rewards, if they adjusted them in any way, if they added any end-tier rewards like sacred shards, legendary books. We have no idea if they changed anything like that, but I do hope they changed it at least for the last few days. So for the last 30 days at least, to get one legendary book, one sacred shard, it's not gonna be the end of the world. So day 210, if I understood it right, we have this champion right here, which is a demon spawn epic champion. We're gonna have a look at the skills in a second. So that's how the champion is gonna look. It's got pretty sick, honestly. Then we have at day 240, again another epic champion. I do remember the affinity for this one was Spirit, defense based champion, an all-green champion, epic. So the day 240. Out of all 3 of them, I think this one has the best kit overall to use for clan boss. So I think a lot of people will actually benefit from getting that champion. And at day 270, we're gonna have this champion right here, which is a void legendary dark elf champion. We're gonna have a quick look at the skills, guys. Honestly, I don't think it's anything crazy regarding with the champions here. So day 210, faction demon spawn, affinity force, epic, type support. He has an aura, or she has an aura, better said like this. Increase ally HP in faction crypts by 30%. I honestly hate the auras that are marked to a specific place, like specifically faction crypts. Then we have the skill 1. We do not know exactly what's the percentage once you book the champions, what cooldowns they have, but that's something probably we're gonna find out when they actually release the reward. So we have the skill 1. Attacks 2 times at random, heals all allies by 3% of this champion's HP with each hit on targets under decreased speed debuff. Skill 2 attacks 1 enemy, has a 50% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff on the target for 2 turns, has a 50% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff on all enemies for 2 turns instead, if this attack is critical. So skill number 3, which is the passive, decreases the damage all ally receives by 5%. This champion will receive the damage instead. If there are multiple champions in the team with the skill, only one will activate. So I think this is the first passive we've seen similar with this. It's pretty much like the mastery that we can get on the tier 5 or tier 6 on the defense tree. Now regarding the skills, honestly her A1 is a bit disappointing. Hits 2 times at random, heals all allies by 3% of this champion's HP. 3% is nothing. Even with masteries, you're just gonna get like what? 10-15% more of this 3%, so it's literally gonna be 3.5%, something like that. Honestly, this heal should be at least a 10%. Specifically, that you require to have a debuff to actually get the heal, so it's dependent of another skill. So honestly, that should be a buff there instant before they even release the champion. Skill 2 sounds pretty decent. I'm not sure fully booked what's the percentage chance to actually place the debuffs. And I think something is just wrong in the skill now, paying attention. So has a 50% chance of placing 30% decreased speed debuff on target for 2 turns. Has a 50% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. Okay, so instead of a target, you rather put it on all enemies. Okay, so probably this fully booked, it will go up to like what, 75%? Maybe, we're not sure about that. Now on day 240, the Ogryn Stripe Epic Spirit Champion, defense based. The aura increases allied defense in faction creeps by 30%. Again, that aura needs to be in all battles. Make it 24%, whatever, I don't care. Faction creeps auras are trash, are not good for anything. Then we have skill number 1. Attacks one enemy, has a 50% chance of placing a leech debuff on the target for 2 turns before attacking. We're not gonna know what's the percentage once you book the champion. I would say it's 60% top to 75, but I have a feeling it's gonna be only 60%. Skill 2 attacks all enemies, has a 60% chance of placing a 50% decrease attack debuff or a 30% decrease crit damage debuff for 2 turns. So it's not and, is a or, so it's gonna be like a gambling. Either I put decrease attack, either I put decrease crit damage, one or another. We're not sure about the cooldowns again. Skill number 3, attacks all enemies, places a 15% continuous heal buff on all allies for 2 turns, places an additional 7.5 continuous heal buff on all allies for 1 turn if at least one enemy is hit with a critical hit. So by the looks of it, these 2 champions so far, they're more towards be pushed to faction wars, which it might not be necessarily a bad thing for people that they do have some sort of issues with these stages, with the actual factions in the faction war section of the game. But I still think the auras should not be tied specifically to the faction creeps, because then they don't really get any sort of other benefit. They won't be used anywhere else because the auras are not that great. Now that we have the Void Legendary on day 270, Dark Elf, how I said, Void Legendary Champion type, defense based. It has an aura as well, increases allied defense in faction creeps by 37%. Again, we're going to faction creeps, so again, I'm not happy with either one of these auras. Okay, you can make it on one, but don't make it on all 3 of them, because they're tied just specifically to faction creeps, and nobody will overall end up in building the champions unless they are really desperate to get this champion for the faction war to actually help them. But by the looks of the skills, it's not going to be game changing. So we have skill number 1, attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has an 80% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 10%. Fills this champion turn meter equal to the amount the target losses. So probably fully booked, it might be 100%, it might be a 95% to decrease the turn meter by 20% with the A1. It can be pretty decent maybe in the Fire Knight. Then skill number 2, attacks all enemies, has a 75% chance of placing a 30% decrease speed debuff for 2 turns. Places a shield buff on this champion equal to 20% of their max HP for 2 turns. So probably fully booked, 100% chance to place a 30% decrease speed debuff for 2 turns on the all enemies. Not bad for faction wars. It does sound pretty good for actual Fire Knight as well, thinking that it's a Void Legendary, so it's very similar with the Blind Seer's skill. The skill 1 that we have here will decrease the turn meter. Then we have the skill number 3, places a provoke debuff on the target for 1 turn. Also places a 50% ally protection buff on all enemies except this champion for 2 turns. So we get ally protection, not bad, but then we have provoke only on 1 enemy, which again is a ripoff, is something not good for a Void Legendary. They should be super special. The skill number 3, make it on a longer cooldown and make it place provoke on all the enemy team. That's what I'm thinking about it, honestly, my opinion. So we've seen the skills, we've seen the champions. Yeah, pretty much fun. We're gonna get new champions, okay. I did address a different concern that I have myself. Now, they've been promised they're gonna remove the rare books from Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss quite a while ago. So that was supposed to be removed, if I remember it right, together with unlimited Clan Boss HP. But it's been pushed forward. I did ask about the Legendary Champion, which is supposed to be a super strong Legendary Champion that we're all gonna receive once we complete the Faction Wars, restarting everything. So I asked about those 2 things. I'm really curious about them, specifically about the rare books, because honestly, I cannot stand to get rare books anymore from the Clan Boss. I'm not leveling up Legendary Champions to end up in going in Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss and Nightmare Clan Boss, be the hardest things in the game, and get rare books to use on champions that I'll never use in the Clan Boss or anywhere else. by any means. So I'm stacked on rare books that I'm gonna open a library. I'm gonna give free books to everybody. So we're gonna open a rare books library, guys. They really gotta get their foot on and just get out those rare books from the clan boss, because it's disgusting. So they said approximately, is not 100% sure, but that's meant to happen in September. So hopefully it will happen in September, because it's not just me. I think it's all of you who had enough rare books from all this Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare clan boss. So they will twerk the rewards in a way or another, hopefully in our favor, because if you guys saw the Ultra Nightmare loot table that I made a while ago, from 1,000 chests on Ultra Nightmare, the percentage to get sacred shards and legendary books, they were like 7 and 8% out of 1,000 chests. So those drops are actually awful, because to get 1,000 chests for a normal player and for anyone else at the moment, because clan hopping stopped, it requires around 1.5 years. So just to get 80 sacreds, 80 legendary books from clan boss in 1.5 years, I don't think that's anything good by any means. So we have the double sacreds, guys. We will be live on Twitch in about an hour. So at 1 o'clock PM UK time, GMT, we'll be opening shards. Feel free to drop by for a chat. We will be doing probably some account takeovers help later on in the stream. That was all for this video. Let me know if you guys are excited about the new daily login rewards. Appreciate you guys watching. If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to thumbs up, subscribe for more content, turn on notifications, and I'll see you all soon on another video. Till then, peace out.